Okay, there you go. Oh,
Oh.
I mean, that's part of it, right? So, yeah, this is the first podcast as actually that I'm gonna record and in this platform that we're using that is called Riverside, which is kind of nice. Your name is Chester, right?
Yeah,
That's
Chester.
how you pronounce your name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Okay,
Manchester without the man. It's Chester. Yeah.
Chester. Where are you from?
Yeah. I'm from Singapore. Born and raised and um based in Singapore as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, what do you do for a living? Like, what, like, yeah, well, like, how's your day every day? Like, do you design, you code, what do you do? Like, how's your day every day?
Well, actually not a designer by profession.
Hmm.
So I'm a software engineer. I studied programming uh in Polytechnic and in university with software, did computer science, and now I'm working at Morbin, which is a design startup, I guess, based in Singapore, um, as a software engineer on the product team. Yeah, so I don't really like. I'm not paid to design. I'm paid to write code. Um, but I do enjoy doing like design on the side. Uh, so when people ask, I always say like, "Oh, I'm just a hobbyist designer," and design has always been something that uh really interested me. Like I think since young, you start with like designing like Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, um, just tweaking the font sizes, laying things out, and then over time it's like I learned the code and I was like, oh, I can design our websites now, so that's really cool. And yeah, just been taking our design on the side. And there I am now. Yeah.
What was your go-to font on PowerPoint?
Oh, oh, that was a long time ago. I think I usually just stick with Arial.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's like not the worst option, I guess.
And
Yeah.
you were doing PowerPoints about what? Like you were doing PowerPoints about your life and like every day you were going to your computer, say, oh, let me create a PowerPoint about something random.
Oh no, 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 no. Just like school projects.
School
Yeah. So
projects.
sometimes we have like presentations and then we have to prep the slide deck.
Yeah.
But I always find myself like being the one to tweak the design of the deck and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, that's fun.
So you had a computer back then, and what computer was it? Like it was like a MacBook or was a
Oh, I actually got a MacBook when I was like 15, but I never really appreciated it much because as a kid, you just want to play games, right? And Mac has no
yeah,
games.
yeah.
So I like kind of went back to Windows um for a few years, and then only like when I started coding, then I realized that oh, Mac is like way better for developers, and then I switched over and I've been on a Mac ever since. Yeah.
When was the last time that you used Windows then?
Um, I have a Windows like PC for gaming,
Okay,
but
okay.
I haven't like it's not even that. It's like sitting in my cupboard. I have not I have not booted it up for like over a year.
That's insane. Like, actually, something that I also wanted to talk about is like, I think that I'm very curious about your life because the first thing I saw when I went to your website is that you like coffee. I'm from
Oh yeah.
Colombia, so for me, that's like a big topic as well. Like in Colombia, every place you go, you get offered coffee for free, a
Yeah.
very
Huh?
good coffee as well. And I saw
Oh.
you that right now you're trying Colombian coffee. Is there any particular kind of coffee that you like from any kind of country? Like, have you noticed the difference between Turkish coffee, for instance, versus Colombian or versus Brazilian or even the African one?
Oh. I haven't like tried a lot of regions of coffee, or like I haven't tried enough to know like what to expect from each region. But the only one that I am a bit more familiar with would be like Ethiopian coffees. Um,
Oh,
I feel like that's a really safe pick for me because usually get like more fruity uh flavors. That's like the kind of stuff that I prefer. Yeah, so Ethiopian is my like safe choice.
it's a
Yeah.
bit soft, right? It's not as strong the taste.
Yeah. But I don't really go for like the dark roast coffee. Yeah, I prefer like the light to medium roast kind of thing. Yeah. Not
Okay.
sure
So
what's the coffee culture in Colombia like? Is it like medium roast, dark roast?
it is medium roast, but you know what is the funny part of Colombia is that all the coffee we make, we always export it to other countries. And the coffee
No.
that we get to drink in Colombia is like basically the shittiest coffee. So it's basically like the one that didn't make it to the quality, So it's like people say like, "Oh yeah, Colombian coffee is amazing." And actually, the first time I got to try Colombian coffee was in Germany, and I was like, "No way that this is the first time I'm trying actually the OG Colombian coffee." But yeah, coffee culture in Colombia is super big, and it's something that caught my eye when I went to your website, which I think that your website is very famous right now. Like for some reason, like
Oh,
you design your website, you didn't expect to get the attraction that you got, and all of a sudden, people start seeing your website. How was the process of that? Like you were just doing it for fun, and you posted on Twitter, and something happened. Like what was it?
yeah, so I wanted to, okay, I think with everyone, they kind of go through cycles of like redesigning the website, loving it and hating it, and then redesigning it again. So I was like, fresh, it was start cycle. I was like, I hated what I had previously, and I was like, okay, I want to redesign the website, to do something different. And, I wanted the site to be a bit more fun, like, not just, like, I guess it's the standard template for personal websites as like portfolio page. You showcase
Mhm.
your previous work experiences, share some of your past projects, stuff like that. Uh, it's like a LinkedIn profile, but
Yeah.
fancier. Um, and I wanted my site to be a bit more passionate, to be a bit more about like showcasing other aspects of my life besides work because I think there's more to me than just like the work that I do, like my hobbies, as well. So that's the goal I had, and then I got pretty inspired by the Fossa Digital Gardens,
Hmm.
which is something that I guess was popularized by Maggie Appleton, and she has her own digital garden, and so like there are a lot of popular digital gardens out there. But my site is a bit different from the digital gardens that uh define in the traditional sense. So for those gardens, they are like text-heavy content with a lot of mini articles linking to one another. But for me, like I kind of like fell in love with the term digital garden because I was a new plant dad at that point of time.
Yeah.
So I was like I had a lot of house plants at home and trying to grow them, and it was fun. And I like the concept of owning a garden digitally. And so the philosophy is that I tried to employ um I started as oh, as a garden, you need to tend to your garden every now and then. It's like don't let it rot, don't let it go stale.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you need to water your plants, you need to
Mm-hmm.
fertilize them, you need to treat them of pests every now and then. So same thing, the same principle I wanted to apply it to my website. I wanted the website where I could update regularly, to feel like a bit more alive rather than uh something that you just do it once and leave. Yeah.
And
So
that's
that's fine. Yeah. Oh yeah, got it.
no, no, please continue.
Oh okay. Yeah, so that's like the goal I had in mind. And I just started designing with that. So again, the final product came out pretty fun, I would say. I think I got that feedback from a lot of people, incorporated not just my projects but also my hobbies like plants, coffee, climbing, and taking photos. Yeah,
They're very particular,
once
right? Like
keyboards.
like a software engineer that's very into plants, is very into coffee, lives in Singapore, is really into digital garden. It's very particular, and I really like it. And this is so true what you say that you wanted to create actual, like an actual personal website, right? And the more I check your website, the more I get so tired of mine. Mine is just so simple, so boring. Mine is just like my name and the same thing that you were like, oh, normally everyone is like just showing their work, and it's basically that the same for me. Like mine is just basic everything. But it is very nice. And I something that I noticed as well, as I told you before we started this podcast, is like I went to a rabbit hole with all the links that you have there and all the interesting things. And I noticed that you're using WordPress, kind of like you linked the front page to a different blog where you actually writing these articles. Like, what was the reasoning behind that?
Uh, um, I don't have a good reason for it, actually. I was just kind of lazy. So the blog was something that I was like, uh, more actively maintaining, in 2021, 2022. That's when I was writing a bit more frequently. And then because my previous site didn't have a blog, I just used WordPress and kept it simple.
Mm.
And when I moved to building a new site, I didn't want to spend time building blog pages. So I just left it everything for WordPress. But yeah, I know a lot of people have told me is like, you should just have the popular site so you
Yeah,
don't go
yeah,
to a WordPress site, you don't see the advertisements and stuff like that. I was like, okay, yeah.
yeah.
But it's I need to find time to do WordPress.
That was super interesting, and I thought for a moment that you were linked into a different kind of person, and it was just like a kind of like like a direct access to that. Um, and I think so about the website was great. I just telling you that I really like it a lot. And
Thank you.
also when I was checking the articles, I saw that you were talking a lot about minimalism, right? About like how live in this way of not having a lot of stuff and feeling quite afraid of everything. And that got me into all other kind of topic as well. Is like kind of like how you how do you live your life in that way right now? Because I know that you're based in Singapore, you have a house, you have an office, you have a life, but like, how do you deal with the whole thing of having less stuff, especially right now, nowadays that I feel that it's so easy to buy something and get it right away. So how you apply that to your daily basis?
Oh, I gotta say, like, I was a lot more into minimalism back then than I am now. I think back then it was like popularized by like Matt D'Avella on
Yeah,
YouTube, and then I was like, oh
super
man,
nice
that's
guy.
so cool. That's like really nice lifestyle.
Yeah.
Um, and well, the truth is I don't have a house. Like I'm living in my parents' house, so I have a room.
Well,
Yeah.
that's very
And
minimalist.
like when you have a room and not a whole house, and the amount of storage space you have is a lot less also. So I guess that in a way that encourages me to keep less things or buy less things. Yeah, but it is super convenient in Singapore to shop. Like
Yeah.
every conceivable platform is here, like Amazon Prime, Shopee,
Yeah.
um, what was that? Yeah.
Also tech is super cheap as well, right? It's like it's not for instance here in Bali, every time that we want to change something, we want to buy a new phone, a new MacBook, every time it's like, okay, let's go to Singapore to buy it because it's way cheaper than
Oh,
actually getting it here. So it's just very funny that part. Also Malaysia. I noticed that Malaysia is also very, very cheap as well. Like I got some stuff there. Um yeah, so minimalism is something that's very interesting. That it's interesting that you were talking about Matt Devilla. This guy, I also follow this guy on YouTube. He's like
yeah.
coming up with these crazy ideas, and it's very interesting because he lives with someone who is not like into that. You know, his wife is not into that. She's very like buying a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
and it's very challenging everything. And part of the reason why I also think that I'm very into that topic as well is because of him as well, and how to not be so attached to our devices as well, and how to kind of be more present in life. But it is just great. And actually my question was like, if you have to pick 3 or 4 things that has to be your essentials right now, things that you have to save right now, and say like, hey, fuck it, everything else, I'm just gonna keep those 4 things, what would it be?
Oh, wow, that's a tough one. But the first thing would be like my computer.
Mm.
I think because like every advisor, doing software engineering and some design stuff on the side, like you can't get away with not having a computer after. It's too difficult. So yeah, my MacBook is definitely top of the list. And everything else kind of doesn't seem to be as important. Like I can acquire still more items along the way. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like not even the computer with the charger because you can get a charger and that's it, like it's just a
Yeah,
computer.
yeah.
That's yeah, I will say in my case I would just try to get my Kindle because I have a lot of books there. And just the idea of having to get those books again is just so tiring. I think like it's also like when I went to your articles and you were talking a lot about how people copy your website, um, and how you were like flattered, but at the same time, kind of like, bro, like I spent a whole month working on this, and all of a sudden, just this person shows up and takes whatever I design and just copy it from what I did. Do you feel in the same way right now after a year? Because I remember that was like April 2023.
Oh, well, it's almost a year now. Yeah, I do remember that. So, I think it got when I tweeted about it, and it gained quite a bit of traction. And I guess it succeeded in a way because a lot of people uh felt something when they saw my site, and enough people liked it. Some people liked it enough to want uh like to have it for themselves. So
Hmm.
back then my website was like open source on
Oh,
GitHub.
okay.
Yeah, like, I did because I never thought like it would get this big, so I just have to open source this as well on my previous websites. Um, and I saw some clones popping up, which show like people forking it and forking the code and then changing the content, but everything else is the same. And I guess I'd be fine with that if there was like some credit somewhere, but there was the credit was like in a blog post saying that it was inspired by just a spot from like that's like that's kind of beyond inspiration. I think we just like rip it off completely and then change the content. So like that's like I didn't build it to make a template. Like I don't think my intention was to make my site into a template and but more of like to inspire people to do something similar. Yeah, so that's why I made this decision to private my code. Yeah, so it's no longer
Yeah.
open source. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that must be so hard, like to feel in that way. And but at the same time, yeah, like that happened to me like when I design things as well, specifically in Colombia, there are not that many designers and they really look at what are the Colombian designers doing outside of Colombia, and they just copy everything, even the copying, even the UX, everything is just, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think every time you go to design Twitter, you always see something like that happening. I
Oh
feel
yeah, so much drama on copying.
the
Yeah.
the drama is so nice. Every time I open Twitter, is the popcorn, and I'm just like, okay, what's happening? Because like, I don't like to be part of that. Even though if someone copy my website or something, I'm just not gonna post about it because just like I don't know. Um, but yeah, you were
Yeah,
uh-huh.
the topic about copying is quite interesting. I agree with you. Like when someone copies like your website, the last thing you should do is like tweet about the copy because you're just gonna drive traffic to whoever copy you, and that's like kind of a win for them. Um, yeah. So
And
like I
imagine
think
if you tweet about it and then eventually you copy someone else because you got inspired, and then it's like plays against you.
yeah, exactly. I think everything in design sometimes can be like a copy of a copy. Um, but the line between copying and plagiarism can be a little bit gray sometimes. Yeah. So I think after struggling with it for a while, the conclusion I kind of came to for myself was like what I wrote in the blog, which was like they can copy that exactly how you do things, but like it's as more important to have a personal brand because it's a lot harder to copy a personal brand. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I saw that you said like at the end the difference will be the brand. So they're not gonna copy that. They can basically not be Chester, and if they do that, is that's gonna be next level.
It's like,
What is the stack that you're using for the website? You're using like is it static or like what is it?
so, I'm using Next.js and Tailwind
Next?
for the front end,
Okay.
and then I use Superbase to host the content. Yeah,
Okay. And
yeah.
I wanted to talk a little bit more about mobbing, because I feel that everyone right now, if someone is a product designer right now, I feel that mobbing is becoming very essential for everything, right? Like every time I want to do something, I'll go to mobbing and I need to check the UX, what is happening, how can I follow the same patterns as well, which that led me to a lot of questions, which is basically in what moment is going to be something new, unique. It's like basically you're waiting for the big designers to design apps that are very influential. And then as a medium, a small designer, you go and see what they're doing and say, oh, this is the way how you do it. Oh, this is the way how you get the OTP. This is the way how you do the onboarding. And it's very interesting because somehow you're going to also control the narrative eventually. The bigger the platform gets, the more the narrative is going to be controlled. And I want to know, like, what are the criteria that you have, for instance, to choose the apps? You say, okay, this is an app that, for instance, is being trendy on social media. This is an app that I just use by accident, or just I use it and say, oh, this will be good to actually have it on mobbing. I know that you're not doing that part; you're doing the development part, but I would like to know if you know that.
Okay. I don't know the full selection criteria, but I can
Mm-hmm.
share like roughly what I'm aware of. So we try to listen to our users as much as possible. So we have like a add request form on Login, which is heavily used. A lot of people request for apps every day, and then based on your requests, like that's like part of the criteria. So like number of requests on a certain app. The other part of the criteria essential would be like it has to be well designed. And that's why we hire um like UX analysts who are like well trained with UX. They have a good eye, so they know what's good and what's not so good. And the rest is up to them. And they have a complex selection system which I'm not super familiar with. Yeah.
And I just imagine like the process of taking screenshots of every part of the flow. Like you actually do that, right? Like take a screenshot, have a reference for that screenshot. This is the flow for onboarding. Da 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 da. Da. You have like this person that is a fake person, of course. This fake user that is Joe, and then you create the email. And if you have to pay for something, you have to pay for something. Like it's like is there's a lot of work, and I think that's the part that is very unique about you guys, is that it will be so hard for at least for someone like me to have access to all the information by myself, right? And you're basically simplifying that. And you started there as a intern, and so like basically like a few, when was it, like when you started working there?
Well, I think I started working as an intern in 2022. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it was in May. Joined in as a summer intern, and after my internship, 3 months later, then I did part-time with them during my final semester of school. And then last year, at the start of the year, I joined them full-time, and that's the story since then. Yeah.
So you're pretty young, like you're so super young, right? Because if you were doing intern like 2 years ago.
Uh, I am 27 this year, I
You're
think.
27.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
really? This is great.
yeah.
Wow. Because so your strategy was to be part of them and say like, okay, I'm just gonna do intern and then I will find my way up to to be a
Um,
full-time engineer there.
I think when I first started, I didn't really know what to expect from Moment. But it was during my time as an intern where I was like, oh damn, like these guys really know what they're doing, and I saw that like they had immense growth potential. I saw that
Yeah.
the the founders had the execution chops to bring the company to like something huge. Yeah, yeah, and I would still say that even though we're quite talked about on Twitter, there's still a ton of designers who don't even know that Moblin exists. So like we can see from like some people share Moblin on LinkedIn or some other platform, and um from the comments it's like everyone's like, whoa, like this is great, like this is new to me, this is news. And from there we know like, okay, actually, the knowledge size is a lot much larger than like what we have now, and there's so much more room to grow. So like for me, I strongly believe that Moblin is still in its infancy, still a little baby. We can become a lot bigger, and I think I'm very calm so far. Yeah.
What when you heard about Mobbing the first time, it was the same idea, or it changed it eventually?
Yeah, Moblin has been
The same idea
the idea
always.
has not changed. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like
okay.
the founder Jiho started it back in university
Mhm.
to solve it like that problem. He needed design references in a more accessible fashion. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was easy. So it was easy for you to understand that at the beginning when they told you like, yeah, this is our company about. You were like, oh, okay, got it. I understood. I understood that. Like you knew that that was actual problem, or it was something that eventually you were like getting to know more and more about the problem.
But a bit of both, I guess, because I do design a bit of things in my free time, so I will always like look for references manually. So when they told me that this is the problem that they're trying to solve, like it clicked with me right away. Um, yeah, simply because I have a bit of a design background. But I also, but like that's like one use case of Moblin as I started working here and like caring for more customers, then I realized that there are a lot more use cases. For example, like benchmarking is a very popular one among large companies. They will use Moblin to reference their competitors so that they can benchmark their features. Yeah, especially like banking apps. It's very difficult to get access to banking apps in another country. Yeah, so that's a pretty popular use case. Yeah.
So how do you guys do that? Like, for instance, if you want to, like, that's the part that's so tricky, right? Because I do you have to find someone, for instance, uh, in Brazil that is Brazilian to open an account for you guys to take a screenshot and all that stuff? It's
Yeah, pretty
basically,
much. Yeah, like I don't think there's a loophole around it. You need a real person to open an bank account.
but is there like any kind of like, hey guys, we're looking for a person in Brazil who is Brazilian? Like, how you get into in contact with these people? It's just like friends of you, then, or you're just trying to just do the popular
uh,
apps?
oh no, we do have a contributor program. So it's we advertise it in our weekly drop email. So if some of our users are interested, then they would uh sign up for the program, and they would find out where they're from and get to actually contribute apps that are in the region. Yeah.
You hear me? I think
Yeah,
something
yeah.
happened with the internet. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I think I lost you for a bit. Well, you were
Oh,
saying that where they're from.
so oh yeah, so we they sign up for the program, and then we reach out to them, find out where they're from, and then uh we'll like get their help with apps in the region. Yeah. So some of the apps that you see from like US or Europe are um provided from our contributors, which is like really amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I mean that's the tricky part of that. I also wanted to ask you, like, what is a topic that you've been very into lately that has nothing to do with plants, nothing to do with coffee, nothing to do with tech, something that's very random that you're even like, whoa, I didn't even know that I was very into this. Is there any topic that you're very into?
Uh, I don't think I have a new interest in anything recently, but I would say like I've been thinking a lot about the design stuff, because that's in my main focus for the last like month and actually last few months. Yeah, leading up to our product launch 2 weeks ago.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. Yeah, I check it. It's just it's very nice, like the interactions and all that stuff. I saw it. I was like, okay, bookmark it. Then I will, like seeing the interactions. And that was something. This was an idea that was part influenced by mobbing as well, and seeing like, hey, maybe I can do kind of the same thing but with interactions. Yeah.
Yeah, so something somewhat along those lines. I think the influence from Marvin was more along the lines of like, oh, if um everyone starts copying each other, then we might end up with a really homogeneous web. And like I think we lose a lot of personality as the web web apps become as apps in general become more professional, more polished. Like you don't always see uh people doing fun things or silly things on their apps anymore. Like it's not as common as I would say like in the early days of the internet when every website had a distinct personality, every website. These are more fun, I would say. Yeah, people were willing to do more silly things. Um, and so I like thought about this. Like, oh, actually, there are quite a lot of people still doing these like fun little things on their websites. For example, like Google Chrome's Dino Jump theme, right? That's just probably one of the most popular ones. Easter eggs like this, hidden games, and some details that are like I would call videos that don't make money. Like
Mm.
they're just there because someone thought it was fun to do it and they did it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like I think I'll be quite sad if people think of design styles as just animation library. But to me like it's more than that. Like it's about fun on the web, on our mobile apps
Yeah.
and stuff like this. Yeah.
Are you the only one working on it right now?
Um Mostly me. I do have a friend helping me out with some of the technical aspects of the website. Yeah,
Yeah.
but curation wise, it's mostly me. Yeah.
So like,
And I do have people submitting stuff to me as well. Yeah.
okay. So there are people sending you stuff and say like, look, this is cool. Like you should have it there and all that
Oh
stuff.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So that will be the next step for Chester eventually, is to just maybe this will become a full-time position for you eventually. Like who knows? In the future, you want to have your own startup, you want to have your own things. Like I see that you've been building stuff too. I actually downloaded your app that is to split the bill.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, that you can split the bill and all that stuff, and I was like, oh, this is great.
yeah, yeah.
It was
Thank you.
yeah, that the app. How was it like?
I kind of built that app to solve uh a problem that I have with my friends. So like we always go out for meals and then we end up having a difficult time split our bills because in Singapore you have to do the math for like um goods and services tax. You have to do the math for service charge. So like
Mhm.
there are always percentages that makes splitting a bit more challenging. And I guess back then because we were still students, um we were a bit more particular about splitting things right. Yeah. Whereas I think as a working adult, it's a bit easier to just like split half or like split equally. But back then we were a bit more particular. And so that's why I did that. But I actually haven't updated it in a while.
Yeah,
Like
it,
right now Singapore's tax has gone up, but the app is still behind. Yes.
because right in the app right now is 8%.
Yeah.
Is
I
eight
think
percent
it's
right now.
9% now.
No, wow,
Yeah.
in less than a year. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's taxes, that's life. And is there any other project that you're working right now, like a side project, side hustle that you're doing in your spare time?
Oh, I wouldn't say that I have any side projects now other than design stuff. I'm focusing on my main project, which is the wedding. So getting
Oh, how
yes.
do you feel about it? Are you happy? Like, are you scared? Like, what is the feeling of that? Like, I don't know.
Um, I'm really excited, I guess. I mean, I'm nervous for the wedding day itself, but because uh yeah, it's like a lot of spotlight on you, which I'm not like super used to. But I'm really excited for that. Yeah, so it's later this year, so I'm saying. one more of
Wow.
my time prepping for that. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. And you are you planning to do like a big party or just something very intimate between friends and something small?
I don't think it's big, but not more, yeah. So like about 100 people and having dinner. Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, that sounds like, yeah, it sounds like quite a party that you're gonna have.
So,
Wow. Uh, and I imagine that maybe like you the way how you celebrate like the wedding and all this stuff is way different than in Latin America. For instance, in Latin America, everyone gets so drunk, but before that they need to dance. They dance all the time, so they can dance for 6 hours, 8 hours. So it's not that
wow.
like it's not that laid back, and it's the aunt and the grandma dancing with the grandchildren, and they're like, it's like, oh, aunt, I don't want to dance with you, and they're like, no, no, come on, we're celebrating. And it's, I don't know if you have seen the movie Coco from Disney. That's basically about is basically it talks about the Dia de los Muertos, which is like the dead day. It's basically Halloween
Mm,
in
yes.
Mexico, and they talk about the culture in Latin America, and it's pretty much like that. Is everyone is dancing and it's like this. So I was just wondering if you're planning that your wedding is gonna be like crazy and you're just gonna dance all day, or it's just gonna be very laid back.
I think Latin American wedding sounds pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It
Do
sounds
you
so
have
fun, like dancing and I mean,
do you have
we
like a type of music that you're gonna play?
I mean, no, that's on my to-do list to create the wedding playlist as well. But
Sorry.
we do want to. So it's gonna be like a dinner. And then after dinner, then like there's like a bit of a party, some dancing. So
Yeah.
we need to find some dancey songs. Yes.
Is
Yeah.
it part of the Singaporean culture as well to get married at 27? Is normal? Is something that is new? Like what usually at what
Mm,
age people usually get married?
I'm not sure what the average is, but I have friends who are married. I know friends who are married like younger, and I also know friends who are married like older, like 30s. So like early 20s to late 30s. So
Okay.
that's very common here. Yeah, yeah.
Wow, I wish you the best with that. Like, I'm telling you, I think it's gonna be great. And I mean, you
Thank
moving
you.
out from your parents' house, because I guess after the wedding you're gonna be like, bye. Uh,
Yeah.
the, thank you for everything. Save a lot of money. But I I I envy you in that sense, because I feel like I spend so much money in rent, and I said like, oh, maybe I should stay with my parents and all that. But yeah, I'm actually also starting my family here in Bali, and it's just, yeah, as a pain in the ass sometimes. Um, but I think it was great, the conversation we had. I don't know if I have more questions, more than if you know someone, maybe you have the contact of someone, a friend of you, that maybe they will be interested in being in this podcast. Which, to be honest, I don't have any idea of what is going to be this podcast about. If it's going to be about design only, or about tech, or about indie hackers. The only thing I know is that I want to kind of connect more with the community, with what is happening on Twitter, also makers. So if you have someone, um, I don't know. Do you know someone that, do you think that in the top of your mind that might be interested, and you think that, oh, this is a nice profile to talk with?
Oh, I gotta think about it. I don't know a few designers on Twitter who are based in Asia, so yeah, yeah.
That will be great. Yeah, I will ask you later on Twitter. You tell me. But I just want to say thank you, Chester, for being here, just saving part of your time today. I hope I can see you when I go to Singapore. I'll definitely gonna text you. I'm gonna tell you. Then we can go and grab
Oh
a
yeah,
cup
for
of
sure, for
coffee.
sure. Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah,
Thanks, thanks for having me.
that will be it.
All right. Thank you, Miguel.